Hey everyone, welcome back. My name is Michael, and as always, we're going to be getting into some more stories. If you enjoy, make sure to leave a like, and if you're new, I'd appreciate if you subscribed. Without further ado, let's begin. This story was posted by a user named Zebra Zucchini in the marriage subreddit. The post is titled, "My husband has never gotten me a Christmas present, but got one for our female friend. I just feel so numb. It's not like he doesn't do anything for me. I got pregnant in high school and our daughter and I got kicked out basically the day I turned 18. I've been living with him ever since. I'm 21 now and our daughter is in kindergarten and I know he loves us. He's paying for me to get my bachelor's degree and takes care of all of the bills. I work odd jobs, but I do have some money of my own. I usually spend it on my daughter. I always try to make Christmas magical for her, and even when we were broke, I scrimped and saved. I even put her name in for a charity tree this year because my car broke down. So money hasn't just been tight, it's been non-existent. And I always get him something. Maybe it's small, but he's always had something. I don't know the last time I got a Christmas present. His brother got me something last year, but we had to cut him out of our lives. Sorry, I'm rambling, but last night I mentioned he had a package and he got excited. He said he saw something online and had to get it for one of our friends. She likes that old show Frasier, and it's a cookbook from the show. Really thoughtful, and I feel like I'm spiraling. I told him I wasn't feeling well and cried myself to sleep on the couch. I love my daughter and I love him in a way, but I hate my life. I was doing therapy at school, but they raised the prices and I can't afford it anymore. I've looked around endlessly and can't find anything within our meager budget, and I can't leave him. I can't be away from my daughter, and I'd have nowhere to go. My parents haven't spoken to me in years, even when I call them begging and crying just to talk. Sometimes my mom will call me on my birthday or Christmas, but she didn't this year, so I doubt she will next week. He's not abusive and he's not cruel, he's just not thoughtful and I guess doesn't care about me enough to get me anything. I think he knew I was hurt because he started talking about taking our daughter to a Christmas event in our city that he knows I want to go to. I feel so selfish. I know I should be more grateful, but even just a little candle or a picture frame would mean the world to me. I know I won't get it, but she'll get a cookbook. Update: I didn't want to bring anything up to my husband and ruin Christmas. On Christmas morning, we obviously got up with our daughter and she loved everything she got, so that was nice. Then my husband handed her a box and I was confused since she had already opened all of her gifts. He had her bring it over to me and I couldn't stop crying. Okay, I know a lot of people dislike her, but Ariana Grande is my favorite artist. Her last album is so good and I wanted to see her so badly, but the tour is very limited and expensive and basically no tickets were available in our city. Anyway, our friend's mom has connections and when my husband got a holiday bonus, he asked her if she'd be able to help. She got us amazing tickets and is going to watch our daughter that night. I couldn't stop crying. I never thought in a million years I'd be able to see her, and he set up everything. I felt bad because all I had gotten him was a new water bottle and jeans, but he said he didn't want anything other than his girls to be happy. When he thought of my gift, he kinda got into the gift-giving spirit and wanted to get our friend something too. So initially this story had me a bit concerned, but the ending is very wholesome. There's honestly very little to say about this story besides the fact that I feel a little bad for OP. Being kicked out by her own parents at the age of 18 while also being pregnant was surely a pretty traumatic time. I will add though, I do think therapy should be on the roadmap down the line. OP seems like she has some deep issues with self-worth. Her comment about not receiving any sort of gift at all and it's spiraling to her crying by herself does not seem like great mental health. User Alternative Minute said, "Aw, how sweet. I'm so glad this one had a positive update. How refreshing. I hope they overcome their challenges and thrive in the years to come." User Creever7 said, "The husband probably wanted to surprise OP, but when he said he would get a gift for a friend, he should have realized that it was hurtful, and at least told her he got her something too. I hate those TV episodes in which everyone pretends they forgot the protagonist's birthday, only to throw a surprise party at the very end. Look how much suffering it brings." This next story was made in the AITA subreddit by a user named Posting for Advice. The post is titled, "I want to go to a hotel with my kids because of my Mills behavior with my daughter." I hope this is the right place to post. I apologize for asking on such a short timeline. My husband and I are currently at my in-laws' house in Houston for the holidays. We live in Atlanta, but we're here to visit them. Just a bit of context so my reaction doesn't seem over the top. My mother-in-law always wanted a grandson. She used to say she was praying for one early in my pregnancy with my daughter. My husband and I didn't care. We just wanted our baby to be happy and healthy. After we had her, she kept pushing for us to have another child. My son is 4 months old and my 2-year-old daughter is such a loving big sister to him. My mother-in-law's behavior toward them is definitely partial, from the number of Christmas presents she gives to the amount of time and love she shows. These are all things she chooses to distribute as she wishes, so I didn't say anything. But today, my mother-in-law and I were with my son while my husband was cuddling with my daughter. They have a really close bond and she's a real daddy's girl. My mother-in-law snapped at him and told him to forget her for a bit and give his attention to my son, who needs it. She said it in front of my daughter, who suddenly went quiet and looked confused and hurt. My son had 2 adults with him. He didn't need my husband to shift his attention away from my daughter at that time. I said as much, and she replied that we're spoiling our daughter to the detriment of our son, that he needs it more, and that we need to impress boundaries on our daughter, again, all in front of her. I lost it, took both my son and daughter, and went to my husband's room where we're staying. A few minutes later, my husband came up, apologized for his mom, hugged our daughter, and said Granny was having a bad day, that she loves her very much, and not to take it to heart. I told him I'm seriously considering booking a hotel for the rest of our stay. He said that would make things worse, that he'll talk to her and fix this, so he went downstairs again. But I'm still considering just leaving. Would that be an impulsive thing to do? Adding this now, he told me he impressed upon her that what she said and did would distance us from her and that things would go more smoothly. He said that me leaving with the kids would make our daughter feel like she caused it, which wouldn't be right. I asked him what exactly she said. He told me she understood what he was saying, but I asked him what she said specifically, and he just seemed evasive. I've read some comments, and honestly, I'd much rather go back to Atlanta than stay in a hotel in Houston. I'll have to check how that could be done. He was asking me to bring us all back downstairs, but I said I wasn't ready. He has taken our daughter out with him to help her feel better. Update. Hi, I wanted to provide an update since some of you had asked. Honestly, I was avoiding it initially because I'd gone against the advice given. My daughter and husband came back last night, with him showing her around the area. My daughter was happy, and my husband said he had made it clear to his mom that the favoritism wouldn't stand, so I chose to stay. This morning, my mother-in-law was extra sweet to my daughter, showing her things around the house and kitchen. It seemed a bit fake, almost syrupy to me, but I thought, okay, maybe I'm being cynical. She's trying and my daughter can't tell, so it's all good. The morning went fine, but after lunch when we were in the living room, she was telling my daughter about her responsibilities as an older sister, that her brother is a baby and younger than her, and she needs to be a big girl and make sure he's happy. It maybe doesn't sound bad in words, but the tone felt like a lecture. So I said Jazzy is a baby too and tickled her to make her laugh, just to put her at ease and diffuse the tension. At that, my mother-in-law said she was just fulfilling her right and responsibility by educating my daughter that as her dad's mom, she's earned the right to educate her grandkids. Again, all of this was in front of her. That was it for me. Maybe in isolation it wouldn't have been, but considering yesterday, I told my daughter we'd go play with her toys in the room and took both her and my son upstairs. I called my husband and told him what had happened. He kept asking how she said it and what the setting was, and I was just like, you know, I planned to give her an honest chance this morning, otherwise I would have done all this yesterday. You need to trust me when I say she crossed the line. I told him I was changing our flights to catch the earliest one out. I said he needed to come with us or he would have to tell our daughter why daddy wasn't coming home with us. He said he would come too and would sort out the flight. I told him I just wanted the earliest one available and asked him to come back. He's out with his friends today. He told me later that we're flying out early tomorrow morning. The last flight today was about 2 hours from when we spoke, so it wouldn't have been enough time. He said he'll be back soon. I'm just packing our stuff now. I went downstairs a few times to grab some of our things. She tried talking to me, telling me to calm down, but I just told her he would talk to her when he got back. I should have listened and just done this yesterday. I deserve any incoming criticism. I'm so angry with myself too. My daughter has had to be in an uncomfortable position twice instead of just once because of that. And we could have celebrated New Year's Eve in Atlanta instead of here. Thank you all for the advice. I appreciate it so much. Update 2, we're at the airport now, waiting for boarding. I thought I'd give my last update now since I'm going to be really tired when we get back home. When my husband spoke to her, I have to admit that I eavesdropped. I don't know if that makes me a bad person, but it is what it is. It concerned my daughter, so I feel it was okay for me to do it, and if it was super private, they shouldn't have been having the conversation in the living room. He was really disappointed with his mom, saying they had gone over this yesterday and that she had given him her word to drop the favoritism. She denied any favoritism and said I was overreacting and just looking for an excuse to leave. Never mind that if that were the case, I would have done this yesterday or 2 days ago now since it's past midnight. She also said that if I was the one with the problem, why did everyone have to go? She came up to say goodbye to us before going to sleep. To her credit, she didn't make a scene in front of my daughter and said her goodbyes. She was obviously cold with me, but I mean, that's to be expected. Final update. My mother-in-law hasn't been in contact with me since then, which is maybe for the best, but she has been in contact with my husband. He said she is understandably upset about how we left, but he clarified to her that no one was going to have a good time with how things had become, and that she needs to be more careful with what she says and how she treats our daughter vis-a-vis our son. He's been the one sending pictures since then, which used to be my responsibility. I brought up how we were going to handle her relationship with our family given what had happened. I pointed out that this wasn't an isolated incident. She had clearly wanted a grandson ever since I first got pregnant. I just hadn't expected her to still show favoritism, and now that we know what happened, we should consider creating some distance. He said that due to where we live, contact is already limited anyway. He agreed with me that her behavior cannot continue, but also said that he knows his mom. Now that she understands the possible repercussions, she will likely change her behavior, and if not, we will continue to keep our distance. His reasoning was that as a widow with only one set of grandchildren, she will essentially play nice. I hope she does. I would like my children to have a good relationship with his mother, like they do with my parents, but I don't know. Fortunately, as he said, contact is naturally limited, and the next time we would normally plan to see her is still a while away. I don't want to bring up the idea of not seeing her right now. He didn't complain or second guess us leaving at all, and I truly love and appreciate him for that, so I'll have that conversation later. Basically, every story with in-laws goes south, and it's always just a bad situation to be in. Typically, it seems like the in-laws are usually at fault, and this story is no different. I understand that it's hard to interject on your parents, but it's what needs to be done in events like this. It's good to hear that he did the right thing in the end, but I can't help but feel this is eventually going to explode once more. User My Friends Call Me Epic said, predicting it now, Morgan Freeman voice, this was, in fact, not the last update. The mother-in-law clearly isn't capable of playing nice. She'll do it more passive-aggressively. To this, user 2dogsalife said, or worse, she'll do it on the sly when there's no one to hear her go on about how the little prince should be waited on hand and foot, how all food is terrible, and how the poor girl must be so obese, trying to start an eating disorder as well as see PTSD. Because it's not just about making everything about the boy, it's usually also about how to undermine and undercut the girl on the other hand. It's going to be one of those situations where if grandma says things that make you uncomfortable or tells you any secrets, you are to tell mommy and daddy as soon as reasonably possible.